Hello there, this is Kush Sharma from Creative Pad Media. In this tutorial, we'll be seeing how to take a very ordinary looking shot of a wine bottle and then turn it into an entire cinematic video shoot for this wine brand. For this, we will be using three different AI tools. The first one is going to be Ideogram, not only to create the frames, which are ultimately going to be converted into videos, but also to get our own bottle into the framing using Ideogram's magic fill feature. Once we have all the frames ready, we are going to be using Kling AI and Higgsfield AI for the effects that you saw in the video. So let's start this process. Let me show you first of all the frames that were used to create these videos. So the first frame that you saw, like I mentioned, was created inside Ideogram. Ideogram, in my opinion, is the best when it comes to creating these AI images, especially when it comes to product photography. Because you simply go over to Ideogram, and even if you just type in a basic prompt like a wine bottle sitting on a surface in a posh looking kitchen, very basic prompt like this, and you leave this feature on, which is magic prompt, it just understands what you want and it just gives you very, very good and real looking images. So here we had our first frame. The only thing was this was not our own bottle. So we need to turn this into something like this one. So get our own bottle here, where I'm just going to be showing you how you can do that using the magic fill feature, which is something I've shown a lot of times in my videos. Then there was frame 2, which you saw. For this, we will be using the bullet time movement effect, the camera movement effect inside Higgsfield. As you're going to see later on, this was again generated in Ideogram. And then finally, we have the third frame. This is the reference frame, where right now our own bottle is not there, but I just wanted for the ending frame for the focus switch to take place as you saw in that video. And this was absolutely mind-blowing, as you're going to see later on inside Higgsfield, because we've never seen anything like this before. And of course, this was the reference image. We needed a final image for this. And again, just like before, I've used Ideogram to replace the bottle seamlessly here. So at least for one of these images, let's quickly see how to use the magic fill feature inside Ideogram. So once you go to Ideogram, you just are going to go to the canvas option here. And right now I might be having some stuff here because I've already done it. But basically, you're going to see a blank canvas. Should point out, to use this feature, you need to be subscribed to Ideogram's $20 per month plan, which is not the basic plan, the next level. Otherwise, you will not be able to upload your own images and edit them. So right now that the canvas is blank, I can upload both the images here. Right, so both the shots are here. We're going to take our own product shot and just make sure it's of the right height. Using those handles, I can do this. Let me just zoom out a bit so that we can see. So you can see this is our shot. We need to get this here. So we're going to use the magic fill option here. And first of all, we'll just have to draw a mask because this is the area that we want to replace. And you can see that this is pretty fast. We're going to hit next. And quickly, we need to describe this image on the left and this image on the right. We're going to be using a website called image2prompt.org, which can help us do this quickly. So let's do that. Once we are on this website, the link is in the description. We're going to go over to image2prompt, and then we're going to upload the photograph of the original wine bottle here. Then we will scroll down and hit generate prompt and just copy this detailed text, go back to Ideogram, and we can say on the left is, and just paste this, because this is very important. You really need to tell everything about this shot because this is what is getting replaced. And for the right one, you can just say on the right is a professional shot of a wine bottle. And that's about it. You really don't need to do anything apart from just move this frame. So this frame should encompass both the things, the mask as well as your original product. Something like this is fine. Now both the things are inside. We're going to hit magic fill, and usually within the first 4 results that we're going to get, or the variations, we will be able to get a good result. So let's just wait for this. All right, so we've got our result, and you can see everything is exactly the same label, the same logo. But the best part is it just takes in the reflections and the lighting from the original shot. If you want to see more variations, you can hit this grid, and on the right, you will see all the 4 variations. Usually, like I said, you get it in the first go. Sometimes it can take a lot of time. For example, this also looks really, really nice. And if it's not worked for the first time around, just retry and hit magic fill again, and definitely in one of the results you're going to get. The final result for me, it was this particular image. And by the way, once the job is done, you can go over to the download option and you just have to move this download frame that you get to the correct size and then just download it. And of course, even for the third frame that I had shown you with the couple sitting behind, I had done exactly the same thing. So this was the original, and after using Magic Fill, just got this. So all our frames were now ready to be converted into videos. Now for the first frame, I used Kling, and it was a very simple prompt. So let me just show you where it was just zooming in to the bottle. So basically I went over to Kling, I went to the video part here, and then I used the frames part under image to video. And if I show you, this was the result. And for this, I had actually used Kling 2 Master, which is the latest model, but it does consume 100 credits even for 5 seconds. So you can see I just uploaded the image here, wrote a simple prompt which said fixed camera, slowly zooming in towards the label of the wine bottle, and this was the result. You can see this really looked very cinematic and nice. For the second part of the video, I wanted the camera to arc around this. Now, this is possible in Kling, but then you'll have to be really accurate with your prompt. So what I did instead was I went over to Higgsfield, and let me show you what I did. So Higgsfield is a really cool tool that again turns images into videos, but the good thing here is you can specify an exact camera movement that already exists in this tool. I already made a detailed video on Higgsfield. If you haven't seen that one, I'll leave a link to that in the description of the video. But basically, you're going to upload the image. So this is still our first frame image. I just uploaded it right here. Then I changed the camera motion here to a motion that was called arc right. So here, if I just type in arc, you're going to see this one. So it's going to show you a preview of how it's going to look. So I wanted the camera to basically turn in an arc. So that's what I had used. If I go back to this part here, you're going to see this right here. So if we just play this, and even the prompt was just very simple, that a camera arcs around a wine bottle. But I just love the way it kept the whole label very consistent during this entire movement. Only thing was it was slightly jittery. So in the final video, I only took like 2 seconds from it in the final editing software. Then it was time to use frame 2, which was this one. And for this, I wanted to use the bullet time effect in Higgsfield, which is very similar to if you've ever seen the movie Matrix, where Neo is dodging those bullets, that you keep your subject, it'll still have the movement, but the rest of the area or the environment around it is completely fixed as the camera moves, and it looks really cool. So I wanted that with the wine being poured, but everything else just being still and the camera moving. So again, you can do these things in Kling, but since Higgsfield already has this bullet time effect, you can see this effect. So that's what we are kind of going for. So I selected this right here. So if you just click, comes here. I uploaded this very frame that we just saw, and I just typed in a very simple prompt, which was, let's just go back here. So once you type in even a simple prompt like wine being poured into the glass, and you have this enhance mode on, it just turns it into like a really detailed prompt like this. Okay. So I'm not going to read through it because you just leave this feature on, and then you hit the generate button, and I was pretty happy with the results here. So you can see that the liquid is still being poured. I actually wanted the liquid to be much more faster and create more splashes. I was not able to achieve that. I did try it with this image also, the same thing. It somehow, the movement was there of the liquid, but it was not as fast as I wanted. I just wanted to be slightly faster. So I'm still working on that. If I do manage to achieve it, I'll definitely post an update about that. But basically, I ended up choosing then or downloading this particular video. But the real part where I was really impressed with Higgsfield was when it came to the last frame. So this was the final frame where I had replaced the bottle already. And what I wanted, as you saw in that video, was I wanted to change the focus between this couple, and finally the focus comes on the bottle here. It's a very popular effect. And the problem here was that in our original image, we don't have those details, like, because you can clearly see that they both are blurred. So we needed a software which can recreate those pixels in a very realistic way when the focus shifts and they are sharp. And that's where I was extremely impressed with Higgsfield. And the motion or the camera movement that I chose for this is called again under this Epic camera control. It's called focus change. So it does that. You just feed in one image and it's actually going to change the focus between the foreground and the background. So I chose this here. I uploaded the frame 3 and just wrote a very simple prompt again that the focus shifts from the background being sharp to the foreground being sharp. And you can see the result here. This was absolutely amazing. Just have a look at this. So I kind of considered I took this as the starting point because right at the start it had kept the foreground sharper. I didn't want that. So I kind of considered this as the start. But just see now that the focus shifts to the couple behind, that this didn't exist. So that's why it's really amazing, because if you think of it, this image has been recreated by the software. And just see the consistency when it moves from what it had to what it didn't have, and it generated on its own. I mean, there was no artifact in their bodies, on their hands, on the wine glasses. I mean, we've literally never seen stuff like this before. I mean, people are sleeping on Higgsfield and, hyping up Kling and Veo, which is correct because Kling and Veo are amazing software. But let me tell you, Higgsfield is not too far behind, because something like this to get in Kling, it'll just take you a lot of time. In fact, I actually tried to generate something like this in Kling. Let me show you the result for that. I had used exactly the same prompt, which was start by keeping the focus on the couple in the background, slowly change the focus to the bottle in the foreground. And the results were not that good because it just didn't do that. This effect was not bad, but it just moved it and kept the focus on the bottle. Whereas Higgsfield just absolutely nailed this. Just see how it changes now to the focus on this bottle. And this was absolutely amazing. And when I put all these things together, I just added some transitions inside Premiere Pro, and this was the final result. So in case this video helped you out, do give it a like. And if you want to follow along all my experiments in the AI image and video editing world, then make sure you subscribe, and I will see you next time.